Welcome to Lopsided Day at the World Junior Championships. So the German team, which was playing with 14 players, should get some guys back before their next game. A German team that was coming off of yesterday, which was a rough day for them as well. Canada opening the tournament at home. A lot of energy with this team. The result, not really in doubt from the opening face-off. It was just a matter of, is it going to be close? No. Is it going to be a respectable score? No. Tim Stützle, not a happy camper, so we'll get to that. Now, also from today, Sweden beat the Czechs 7-1. Broberg had 3 assists, and that one was a close game until it wasn't, really. The Czechs stayed in as long as they could, and then nope. So that is 53 straight round-robin wins for the Swedes. The U.S. is going to play Austria tonight. I've watched as much lopsided hockey as one man can handle for today. So, yeah. The good news is it means that the U.S. can bounce back from their loss against the Russians. And so what's coming up? Canada will play Slovakia tomorrow. That'll be obviously a better test. The Russians will play the Czechs tomorrow. That'll likely be the game that I'm watching and doing notes and a review on. Which, again, based on what happened with the Swedes today, it could be a lopsided game. Austria will be playing Sweden on Monday, so it doesn't get easier for them after the U.S. tonight. Slovakia will play Germany on Monday, so they go from Canada to Germany. And that's the game Germany's watching. Germany's supposed to get, I think it's 6 players back before that next game. Dear Lord. They had the option of pushing the game they played today back a day. IHF gave them the option, and they said, nope, we'll leave it as it is. We want that day off in between the game against Canada and the game against Slovakia, which is obviously going to be more winnable for the German team. The U.S. will be playing the Czech team then on Tuesday. So for the Czechs, after the loss to Sweden, they play Russia, and then they play the U.S. Does not get easier for them either. So it was Levi against Tifensi, and Tifensi looked okay against Finland. Today, this Canadian team is overpowering. The amount of first-round draft picks on this team. So when people are like, what's going to happen without Kirby Dach? Well, they're still saying he's their captain. He's not there, but he's their captain. He's there in spirit. And so Canada is excited for this tournament to start. And they started early. 1 minute and 54 seconds in. Gooley scores from Quinn and Barron. Levi then denied Stützle. Stützle had a good game. Didn't get on the scoreboard, but had a good game. Canada had near misses 6 minutes in, but they also forced the Germans to ice the puck. So there were some plays around the net where it was close. Byfield takes a penalty. The Germans go to the power play, and the Germans need a goal. They got to tie this. However, shorthanded, it's Dawson Mercer, who had a very good game, scoring at 7 minutes and 27 seconds. And Tifensi stumbled behind the net and turned it over to Mercer on that one. So that made it 2-0 as another goaltender stumbling in this round robin. We saw that yesterday. In the American game where Spencer Knight was like, here, take the puck. Schumacher then got hurt. It was a clip to the head by Schneider, which didn't look good. So he gets 5 in a game, and it didn't look good in that he's probably going to get suspended, and rightfully so. You're playing against the Germans. They're already only playing with 14 players, and it's a hit. It's direct head contact. Now, in the NHL, we'd be having this debate on, well, is it intentional? Is it... IHF doesn't have that. For the IHF, there's no gray area. You hit a guy in the head, it's a hit to the head. And so it's likely to be a suspension because there isn't that gray area. They don't get into all the debates. They just say no to head hits. So since that's the primary point of contact, Schneider's probably going to miss the next game. Levi looked sharp during a 5-minute penalty kill. However, the German power play wasn't too bad tonight. It was one positive they can take out of this game. Paderka scores from Eliash and Alberg at 13 minutes and 12 seconds on that power play, and it deflected off of Bowen Byram's stick, which was, I mean, you could look at that and go, well, that's a gaff, but we see it all the time in the NHL. All the time in the NHL. Guy puts a stick in the lane, deflects off a stick into the net. It is common in the National Hockey League, so Byram's all set. then at 14:20, so a minute and 8 seconds later, Tomasino scores to make it 3-1, and it was not a very good goal. That was one that TFNC needs to be stopping if they're going to stay in the game at all. Byram then defended Paderka on a chance and didn't take a penalty in doing it. Paderka was very close to getting a goal there. Couldn't get to the net because Byram fought him off. With 20 seconds left, there's a too many men on the ice call on Germany, which it's kind of humorous because there's only 14 guys on the bench altogether if everybody's off, but very tired. And they showed on the replay, these guys are completely gassed. So one guy's coming off, and he's slow to come off, and a couple guys jumped on. And when you've got 14 players, you don't necessarily have your lines all figured out. It's understandable that would happen. And it was like, great, now they're killing a penalty. And then Canada scored after the time expired. So TSN has basically the game clock synced up with theirs. When the puck goes in off of Krebs' shot, which was a power play marker, you could see that the puck had not crossed the line when the clock hit 0.0 seconds, meaning no goal. And you could clearly hear the horn as the puck's in the net, meaning no goal. Krebs gets credited with the goal from Cousins and McMichael at the 20-minute mark because, according to the double IHF clock, there was still 0.2 seconds left. So that's interesting. And it makes it 4-1 after one because the Germans aren't allowed to have nice things. And this is where we're at. Now, going into the second period, the Germans rightfully decide TFNC has had enough. He's gone through that awful first game, and now he's going through this game. So we're going to put Gaer in net. Now, Gaer is spelled Gaehr on the World Junior site through TSN, but on his jersey on the back, I swear it just said Gahr. So he goes in. Gaer is in net for the Germans. Looks like Gar, which got me thinking about Pirate Steve from Dodgeball, because let's be honest, this game gets out of hand quickly. It's 5-1 as Mercer scores from Tomasino and Drysdale at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. So that's Mercer's second. Stutzla then had a chance at 4 minutes, which didn't go, but at 5:36, Canada makes it 6-1. It's Ryan Suzuki from Mercer. Mercer had a very good game. If you're a Devils fan, you had to enjoy this. Gaer misplayed the puck on that play. So again, it's a goal where the German goalie comes out, probably shouldn't have, and it ends up in their own net. So, and in this case, Mercer, rather than swatting it in himself, as he did on the TFNC one, he decides to pass it out to Suzuki so Suzuki can get in on it. There were only 3 Canadians that didn't get a point in this game. And then it was 7-1 Canada. Newhook scores from Cousins a minute and 4 seconds later, and that's where this guy said, I'm not writing any more notes about what goes on during this game because this is going to get even uglier. And it did. It became 8-1 as Newhook scored from Cousins again at 10 minutes and 59 seconds. So it's 8-1 and we're just past the halfway mark of the game. Brutal. Just brutal. 9-1. Tomasino from Barron and Mercer at 13:01. So that's Mercer's, 4th point in the game thus far? And then it's Cousins scoring to make it 10-1 at 18:14. That's his first goal. To go with a few helpers. So he had 3 assists, and he decided, well, hey, let's even that up. He started with a goal. And then Canada scores at 19:51. It's Krebs from Perfetti. So as they said, Krebs has scored 2 goals in the last minute of the first and the second period, and the amount of time left on the clock was 9 seconds. So Krebs is a guy you want for those last minute goals. Hey, Vegas, that's when you want him on the ice. And 5 of the 11 goals in those first 2 periods were right at the front of the net. Like, they showed where Canada was scoring from, and these are right smack dab in the middle. So while people will look at this score and they'll say, wow, they didn't have any goaltending, they didn't have any defense either. This is a team that doesn't have Moritz Seider, and you can see it. Without Moritz Seider, they also don't have Lucas Reichel. There are some big names. They also, their starting goalie did not make the journey over. I mean, to point up at Germany when I say that. So there are a lot of players for the Germans that, due to COVID testing and due to everything else, they're not in this tournament. So, and not that they would have beaten Canada with those guys, but at least it would have been more of a game. Third period, Canada, Cousins scores on the power play from McMichael and Perfetti at 37 seconds. Then Cousins scores his hat-trick goal from Holloway and Newhook at 4:33. Would have been a natural hat trick, but Krebs is in the middle there to make sure it's not. So, yeah, that's Cousins' 6th point. He goes, all right, well, let's let other people get in on the fun. And 28 seconds later, Pelche scores from Byram and Byfield at 5:01. So Byfield gets on the board. And then a minute and 23 seconds after that, yep, it is Harley from Perfetti and Krebs at 6:24. So everybody's getting a lot of points. This is just score padding at this stage. Gooley takes a penalty, and I put on the board, can Germany score 10? And this is right about where, when it was 14-1, I posted on Twitter that, they're behind, but if they can get a touchdown and get an onside kick, may not be over yet. So you need football rules to score enough points to make it interesting. Canada would score another shorthanded goal, their second of the game. And it's McMichael at 8 minutes and 38 seconds. And the more damning thing about this is, that was their 5th shot of the third period. All 5 of them had gone in the net. So Gare, just rough game. Now, the good thing for Gare, if you can find, you've got to find a silver lining in this, right, is he would not allow another one. So his save percentage at the end of this game ends up being the same as Defensi. Whew. Gare did make some saves. Korzak takes a penalty with 2 minutes and 12 seconds left. And I was thinking, okay, with 2:12 left, the Canadian team has 2 shorthanded goals. They've allowed a power play goal, but they have 2 shorthanded goals. Are they going to go for a third? Stützle would hit a crossbar. And Stützle was pretty upset after it became like 15-1. You could see him on the bench quite visibly angry. Stick-breaking level of angry. So that's good that he comes into this game where, I mean, they were not going to beat Canada, but he's still mad about the result. That's some good, I mean, people could look at that and go, that's not good sportsmanship. No, it's a good compete level. So for Ottawa, you have to feel good about the compete level for Stützle, that that if you're playing against Tampa, that while other players may go, well, we're not going to beat Tampa, Stützle's not going to care. So that's good news. Now, of course, that's not going to happen this season because of the way the divisions are set up. But anyways, during that power play, Eliash scores on the power play with 19 seconds left from Paderka and Gnip. I'm saying it like that because I had a supervisor at my workplace that was his last name, and it was Gnip. I was like, isn't it just Nip? No, Gnip. So there you go. 16-2 was the final in favor of Canada, but Eliash with a goal and an assist. Paderka had a goal and an assist. So if you're a Buffalo fan, and of course I'm wearing this because Cousins had a great game, 3 goals and 3 assists for him. He's the player of the game for Canada. Stützle was the player of the game for Germany, even though he was not on the board scoring-wise. But yeah, Defensi, 7 saves on 11 shots. Gare, 21 saves on 33 shots, both of them with a .630 save percentage. Levi saved 8 out of 9 for an .880 save percentage before Garand went in. And Garand ends up saving 5 out of 6 for an .830 save percentage. The shots were 11-5 Canada in the first, 18-4 Canada in the second, 15-6 Canada in the third. Final shots 44-15. That's a long game. But for Canada, they get off to this fast start, and tomorrow they've got the Slovaks. So the reason why, and I know I got messaged about this, why are Canada just piling it on? Well, there is the goal differential, which doesn't really come into it, but it's there. And also, these players are coached to not change their game. Even though you're up 11-1 after 2, don't get into really bad habits that may leak over into the next game. So just keep going. And I don't think the Germans would be overly upset with the fact that Canada didn't let up on the gas pedal, because it's sports, that's kind of how it works. But it did look like men against boys out there, and you could tell the Germans were just gassed in large parts of this game. So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Canada did finish with 2 goals less than their all-time record. I was thinking, if they get to 18 or 19 goals, they do a great title for this video, but they didn't get there. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video, and hey, Canada kind of won. And if you're a German fan, well, there's still hope, because Germany is still going to be playing against Slovakia. They're still going to play against Switzerland. And the idea was they knew they weren't going to win this game. And to really focus on those other 2 games and try to at least win one. They don't want to end up getting relegated again. All right. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.